Off the rails. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. The Trump chaos train rolled back into Middle Eastern politics on this day. It was awkward and it was ugly. During a White House photo op with Jordan's King Abdullah, President Trump repeated his pledge to have the United States take ownership and control of Gaza. A reporter then asked about the 2 million Palestinians living in Gaza.
Mr. President, why should the king take in the Palestinian people? He's made clear he doesn't want to.
Well, I don't know, but he may have just something to say because we discussed just briefly. I think maybe you want to say it now, or?
Well, Mr. President,
King Abdullah is one of the most well-regarded and unflappable leaders in the Middle East, but his relationship with other Arab leaders is sensitive and complex. And the king seemed taken aback at being put on the spot so haphazardly. Watch his blinking and his eyes.
I think we have to keep in mind that there is a plan from Egypt and the Arab countries. We're being invited by Mohammed bin Salman to discussions in Riyadh. I think the point is how do we make this work in a way that is good for everybody? Right. Obviously, we have to look at the best interests of the United States, of the people in the region, especially to my people of Jordan. And we're going to have some interesting discussions today, I think.
At this point, after mentioning other leaders in the Middle East, the king seemed to regain his mental balance. And he unveiled a formal proposal that perhaps he thought he would be unveiling hours later after his full talks with President Trump.
I think one of the things that we can do right away is take 2,000 children that are either cancer children or in very ill state to Jordan as quickly as possible, and then wait for, I think, the Egyptians to present their plan on how we can work with the president to work on the Gaza challenges.
The announcement about taking 2,000 Palestinian children is a big deal. But such news usually gets delivered first to other leaders and stakeholders before being announced to the press. Trump diplomacy, though, isn't so strategic or formal. And it meant that even President Trump was strangely caught by surprise.
So you're
I want to tell you, excuse me, wait, just please. I didn't know that what you just said, 2,000 children with cancer or other problems, and that's really a beautiful gesture. That's really good, and we appreciate it. And we'll be working on the rest with Egypt. I think you're going to see some great progress. I think with Jordan, you're going to see some great progress. There's 3 of us, and we'll have some others helping, and we're going to have some others at a very high level helping, and the whole thing will come. It's not a complex thing to do. And with the United States being in control of that piece of land, a fairly large piece of land, you're going to have stability in the Middle East for the first time.
And there Trump said it again. The disputed territory of Gaza, with its 2 million residents, including Hamas terrorists, will be the responsibility of the United States? Hamas has rejected that. Palestinian leaders have rejected that. Even U.S. allies in the region, including Saudi Arabia, have said it is nonsensical. But Donald Trump keeps digging in, including on the removal and deportation of all Palestinians in Gaza.
The Palestinians, or the people that live now in Gaza, will be living beautifully in another location. They're going to be living safely. They're not going to be killed, murdered, and having to leave every 10 years, because I've been watching this for so many years. It's nothing but trouble. Everyone's being killed. They're being robbed. It's like living in hell.
Donald Trump has been watching this for years, and so he's an expert and knows that living in Gaza is like living in hell. But solutions in the Middle East are not as simple as Donald Trump seems to think. And without providing any details, logistics, or even resource commitments, Trump jumped immediately to his vision of a rosy future for the Middle East, and particularly for Palestinians living in Gaza.
And they're going to end up having a great home, great families that don't have to get mugged and killed and beaten up and harassed by Hamas and everybody else. And I know we'll be able to work something. And what you just said about the 2,000 is fantastic. It's so beautiful. It's music to my ears. But we're going to be able to work something, and I know we'll be able to work something also with I believe, not 100%, but 99%. We're going to work out something with Egypt.
Trump is 99% certain he's going to be able to work out something with Egypt. Keep in mind that Gaza, until 58 years ago, was part of Egypt, and to this day, Gaza has a southern border with Egypt. However, not once during the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, with all of the Palestinian casualties and suffering, not once did Egypt ever take in any Palestinian refugees. Egypt has allowed aid to cross into Gaza, but no residents of Gaza have been allowed to leave and enter Egypt. And yet Donald Trump is 99% certain that Egypt will agree to take in many Palestinians. It is absolute nonsense. And nearly everybody across the Middle East knows that Trump is talking in ridiculous fantasies. And by the way, the awkward and dumbfounding photo op with Jordan's king came in the wake of a Trump claim a few days ago that Palestinians, under the Trump plan, would never be allowed to return to Gaza.
In the meantime, I would own this. Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians
no
have the
big
right to
money
return?
spent. No, they wouldn't, because they're going to have much better housing, much better. In other words, I'm talking about building a permanent place for them. Because if they have to return now, it'll be years before you could ever. It's not habitable.
It's not habitable. And that Trump position now means the United States is not going to invest any money in Gaza while Palestinians are still there. Because under Trump logic, why throw money at something that is not habitable? Donald Trump is suggesting it's either his plan or no plan. Jordan's King Abdullah, for his part, showed diplomatic savvy by staying calm and cool during the meetings with Trump and publicly thanked Donald Trump for being involved.
Very much.
Mr. President, thank you very much for having us, and so short after your inauguration, I think just as a testament to what you said is a special relationship between our two countries and the personal relationship of friendship and trust between the two of us.
But one imagines that when Abdullah briefed other Middle East leaders in Arabic on the chat with Donald Trump, the language was colorful and bewildering. Middle East analysts say Donald Trump, particularly on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, is a simpleton and an idiot. And sadly, instead of serious discussions on building safety and security, the world is being treated to a buffoonish clown show. And with Trump, it keeps going. By the way, a Trump-appointed judge recently thumped Trump in court. Judge Carl Nichols, who was appointed by Trump, is the latest to reject administration efforts to shut down a government agency. Here's how the news broke.
A federal judge has just paused the USAID administrative leave. After hearing arguments in Washington, Judge Carl Nichols says he will grant the plaintiff's request for a temporary restraining order or pause.
More than 15 federal judges have now ruled against Trump administration efforts. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Travoy, who wrote, 25th Amendment needs to be applied to Trump. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump going off the rails in a White House photo op with Jordan's king. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.